I don't think I'm going to be able to get what I think I want for the house.
Okay.
You know, after rolling over in my mind all the things you said to me.
Right.
I don't really want to get into fixing up this place to try to get a little extra, you know, a couple of dollars.
Right.
And I think from what I look like, I mean, and I'm just guessing at prices, but if you start looking, you know, the things you said, windows,
right.
air conditioning, roof, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I mean, it adds up to $100,000 real quick. Well, and fees, right? Real estate fees,
right.
your cut, every, you know, commissions, yada, yada.
Correct.
I'm looking, you know, roughly about $100,000, and I just don't want to deal with the hassle all the time.
Right. No, understood.
So the next question is, in the home's current condition.
Correct.
You think 925 is about the max?
I don't think that's the max. I think that's what I would list it at 925 to see what the market bears. And I do truly believe that 950 is not out of stretch. Again, we don't know until we put it on the market. I think if it were me, and I would try to be super pragmatic of listing it at a price. 950 is a stretch to list it at, but in this market, I wouldn't be surprised if you were pleasantly surprised with your number at that 980. And I appreciate you bringing up not wanting to fix anything, because that went into that 950 price. If you were to list it at 925 and it's as is current condition, I think you're going to be extremely competitive in this market. And it's not unreasonable to hear of properties that are going 30, 40, 50 plus over asking price. So you still may end up at your number. We just won't know until we see what the market truly is willing to bear. So that's the honest, straightforward answer I can give you. To see, you'll only know if you put it on the market, expose it the right way, give it at least a week. And if after a week you don't like what you see in front of you, you don't need to take any of those offers. You want to stick to the buyers that are checking it out today at 900K without commissions, you know, and I could talk to my parents about just handling some paperwork and consulting you on the side. That's the route you want to go, then, you know, I respect it, because I still think you're going to net very well at 900K without having to pay those additional costs.
Well, why don't you talk to mom and dad,
okay,
and see what a consulting fee would be? Because if I contract with you, then I gotta get, you know, right there. If we pay commissions front and back,
right,
I gotta have at least, you know, 970. So
right.
Now we're stretching the limit of what you're saying, $1 million home. What do people really want to?
Correct.
Really want to see?
And
my wife and I, we were just sitting here having our usual, you know, discussion.
Right.
And I'm just too wishy-washy for it. But it looks to me, I mean, like I said, I was up late I got up early, and all I did was for about 2 hours just thought about it. I thought, shit, it's just too much work.
Right.
I'm too old, and I don't want to deal with it.
Right. No, I don't blame you. And to be honest, it's
just go.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
I'd rather find somebody that says, "I'll take the house the way it is.
Yep.
I'm going to pay you this."
Okay.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Now, let me ask you another question.
Right.
When they call those the FOBs or whatever those sites are that list the homes. They were talking about. I read this article about sell your own house.
Right.
These are the things you need to do. These are the things, if you have an agent, you get, you know, telling you all the stuff. So they were talking about listing them on the sites that list your homes, you know, for sale with Zillow.
Right.
They listed a couple others. How do you get your house on there? I guess you just call them, say, I want to do this.
So are you talking about doing like a for sale by owner, trying to do it and advertise it so that it gets out? So there's certain sites that are out there that you can do it with. Zillow does do a for sale by owner, and people do try that route. And typically what you're going to see when you do that is more of the calls you're going to get, even if an agent says they have a buyer. First, the first question they're going to ask you is, are you cooperating? What that means is, are you paying a commission? And then you tell them what commission you're willing to pay. And standard of what they expect is 2.5. The last one I did that I actually found for a buyer. So a buyer that I was working with for about 6 months had reached out to me and said, hey, you know what? The only one that we're really interested is actually a for sale by owner. Would you mind calling them up? And they didn't think that they were going to pay any commission. So they felt bad because they knew we were working together for some time. So I called the guy up, and he listed, they were offering 3% commission to the buying side. They represented themselves. They went through some home pie service or whatever the case was, and did it. But the reason why it wouldn't make sense to go that route, especially with what I'm already willing to do for you, Jeff, is you don't have the E&O protection. My client has protection. The buyer did, but they didn't. And I was willing to do the whole thing. The guy was an ex-firefighter, still served, not military, but still served. And I was going to do the whole thing for him and represent both sides. And he actually was more concerned about the buyer feeling I was trading loyalty. So they still kept representing themselves without insurance. And I still got paid the same amount of money I would have been paid to represent both sides. So it kind of just created a little bit more liability on his part. But if you're thinking about going that route, you're mostly going to get hit up by agents trying to list your house. And they're all going to say they have a buyer to try to get their foot in the door. And then once they get it, so more of the calls you're going to get, and you'll see if you try it out, and you can give it a period of time to see. The only thing I've seen is when you put it on a price at for sale by owner, like through Zillow, say you listed it at 900K because there's no commissions involved. Well, that history stays on there because more times than not, it's like, I'm trying to think, other than this one situation, 90% of the time, the sellers realize they need to be on the open market, represented by a listing agent, that people are going to take them more seriously. And now you're getting people who are going to write over asking, because in those FSBO situations, they're coming in trying to figure out, okay, well, they're not paying commissions, so we can get a deal here and we can negotiate. And this seller, just really doesn't understand what the situation is. That's typically how people are approaching. The smart agents, like what I'm not going to call myself a smart agent, but we took a very smart approach with that situation because we knew it had less competition than if that house was on the market with everybody else. It would have been bid up. So instead of writing over ask, we wrote 620 at full price and got it at 620. So that's where you're trying to save on the commission side. It can actually hurt you because there's less competition, less people in front of you, and your goal is to cast the biggest net possible. So just know we're willing to work with you to cut down on the cost as much as possible. And that's including if it were on the MLS. In best case scenario, if we can represent both sides, we can cut it down. I mentioned 3.5 to you before, and that was before I realized our relationship. Be more than happy. And I'll talk to my parents about it, but I'm sure they'd have no problem with me doing it for 3% if I represent both sides. So 3%, that's both sides.
You'd have to find the buyer
right.
At that.
Right.
Right. Because you'd have to have the customer, the client.
Correct.
I'm the client.
Right.
You'd have to find the guy who's going to buy my house, or whatever you want to call
right.
it.
Right. And it would give you, and see, so let's put it this way. If you were offering 2.5% on the other side, that's would be only 0.5% for me to make sure that you had coverage if it was on the MLS, as just basically implementing it. You're going to do most of it. And I don't even like to work that way. That's typically how discount commissions, how they work. They're going to put more on you to have to do all the appointment setting, everything else. And that's what we do. And that also helps us generate that multiple offer situation, So let me talk to my dad. We'll do 3 if we do both sides. I'll talk to them and see if we can do, I can try 3. Shoot, trying to think. There just has to be enough to make something work.
Let's just go straight up down to business, right? We're doing business,
right? Right,
so
doing business.
5% is what we do.
Yep.
I have to get a minimum of 950 just to get 900,000 on my end, and
right.
I haven't done the sewer and this kind of thing is going to be cheap. That's
right.
only a couple of $100 to
right.
have that shot. I'm not worried about that.
Uh-huh.
What what starts, looking at, like I said, if I pay an agent $50,000, if I put air conditioning in at 12, if I put new windows in at 15,000, and I don't know if that'll even cover it. Then a new roof, if I go with a contractor, which you probably have to do so you can show people receipts. I can't just have my cousin do it, even though I know he's trained.
Right.
If it was me living here, I could have him do it. But if I'm doing this to sell it, I gotta have a business do it.
Right.
So I can go, Joe's ABC Roofing did it. Right there, it just adds up to $96,000. Now, for me, just to get what would have been offered by these young people,
right,
I got to sell it for $1 million
to be equal,
just to cover all those costs.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
But if I did all those things, and now we have windows, air conditioning, would it be worth $1.5 million? I mean, it's $1.05 million in this area. Right. That's what I'm racking my mind around.
Right.
You're the pro. You've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
To me, my neighbor, you saw us talking to the lady that came across the street. She was going, man, don't sell yourself short. You can sell this place, no problem. It's going to go. This is the best neighborhood.
It is.
She's pounding on her chest and everything's cool. And she's not going, yeah, but
well,
that's where I'm kind of
right. No, you're being very pragmatic and realistic in terms of you want as much as you can get, and you're trying to do as much research ahead of time so we can predict. Like you talked about the home inspection that comes back. I think a termite inspection would be a great idea as well, just to see what do the numbers look like ahead of time. Right now, we do have to disclose that, and that's why usually I'll wait until we negotiate all the numbers first. I don't want typically a home inspection or a termite report before we start negotiating. And I picked this up when we were flipping homes for the nonprofit, and we would buy foreclosed properties, and they always did a home inspection before they fixed it up, and they did one after. Well, now you had to disclose the one that had all the nasty stuff on it before it was all fixed up. So I told the nonprofit, I said, you guys are adding extra liability to you by having the second home inspection report. Why don't you just wait? And we can tell visually, just looking at what needs to be done, get it all fixed up, do a home inspection report after the fact. Now that's what the buyers are seeing, and they're not freaking out because they saw the before product. So I don't think you need to worry about it just from what I visually saw looking at your house. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. But what you're saying in terms of numbers all makes a lot of sense. And I do feel 950 is doable with the 5% and everything tied in, cost wise. I am willing to help out wherever I can help out to make sure you net the number that you're looking to net. So that's, as much as I can say it without saying I can do it for free. Just know that I'm willing to be as flexible as possible on our part. So it's more of making sure. I want to make sure that you and your wife make the right decision, which is going to maximize how much money you can make on the sale of this and walk away with. And if it doesn't make sense, then we don't spend the money or we don't do anything. And that's why I like you sharing with me that you don't want to fix these things up, because I think if you priced it today at $925, you're going to get that action you're looking for. I think at $950, I think it drops. So at $925, I say you're at about an 80% probability that you're going to be stoked on what your end result is. At $950, I'd say you're probably at about a 50-50. And that's about as real as I can be. 50% chance you still get the traction in its current condition at $950. 50% chance that people think we're priced too high at $950 and they try to lowball us, or they just let us sweat it out for 20, 30 days, which time isn't hurting us right now. You got plenty of time. So I would still not think it's a bad idea to even put it on at $950. I just think $925 is going to generate all that interest that you're looking for in its current condition. So that would be my recommendation. If you're going for where you're trying to create as many offers as possible, that'd be closer to the $925 is the sweet spot. That's what I see just based on looking at all the numbers.
To come in and drop me a briefcase full of money.
Right. Well, it's more likely at $925 that you're going to see that. And
that's what I want. I just want somebody to come in and just go here.
Right.
It's like you see in the movies. You pop the briefcase open. There's $100 bills. Here we go. Oh, okay, thank you.
Well, that's and the reason why I say that, when I say $925, let's say your house was worth $1 million and we can get $1 million, right? 925 just sounds like a deal of all deals that's going to draw a lot more attention than 950 will. And that's just the way human nature and the way these buyers look at it. They're looking for, this looks like a great opportunity at 925, and we want to get everybody excited about it. You know, before I saw inside your house, I actually thought the number was going to be 899 based off comps and everything we looked at. But after I saw the house, saw the kitchen in person, saw just how nice and clean the entire layout, your curb appeal from when you get there to the backyard and the, you know, we show a lot of properties out here, and it is very rare that you get in an ideal part of Ventura with that type of yard and that much space in the back. And then I was telling you about the ADU conversion with the garage. That's big right now. And investors can see that and say, okay, you already got 1,600, you already got your 3-bedroom, 2-bath here. We can convert that garage, convert it into an ADU, probably still run somewhere between $50,000 to $80,000 to get it like legit set up nicely and do what needs to be done. And if they do that, they can bump that value up so much because now they got, you know, a casita or whatever you want to call it, where it's separate, that they could even rent that out. And people are getting for like 600 to 800 square feet. If they can make it a 2-bedroom, it's likely going to be about a 1-bedroom for what I saw from the size of it. But people are getting like 2,200 a month just on those ADU conversions. They're huge. And that's not unlikely either, because people have their own separate spot that they can go in. They have their own little kitchenette. They have their own shower. They get the plumbing. They get everything set up there. So there's investors that are looking for those types of opportunities. That's what I was saying. The briefcase is not far-fetched. And it could happen at 950. I just think 925 is what my gut's telling me. And you're asking for my professional opinion, and that's what I would do if I were trying to draw all that desire.
I don't think we're zoned R2 here, though.
That's okay. No, the R2s, it doesn't have to be R2. So, yeah, this was since, I want to say it was 2000, it's either 17, I believe, the 2 Senate bills were passed. It was within the last 2 to 4 years. But the first one,
that's true. You're right.
yep, it's to make it easier because they don't have enough granny flats. In housing, there's such a shortage. And so this is the way, that's what, you know, we were talking about, more in-laws are moving in, especially single story. It's all flat. You can walk across it. I would not be surprised if you have investors looking at your property and that's what their mouth is watering over seeing that opportunity, because I've talked to investors in the past that do that. And as much as we think it is rare, and I you know, I'm going to be upfront that more times than not, it's going to be another agent that's going to sell the property. That is the reality of it. It is not out of this question, especially in this market, for somebody to call me off a sign. Actually, the last one I listed at 915, it was an attorney engine guy called me off the sign and was like, hey, you know, because they only want to deal with listing agents because they feel they're going to have the inside. If they're in a multiple offer situation, they're going to come through. Well, if I tell them, hey, I'll actually save my seller quite a bit of money if you do work with me, it is more likely to happen in this market than any other type of market. So it's not far-fetched. It doesn't have to be somebody that's been in my pocket for the last 6 months to the last year. There's only one in reality that I know can afford your property. I know the guy is frugal with money, so that's why I haven't even put him up there, you know, because I don't think he's going to be willing to give you the money that I know we can get you and what the market can bear. So it still doesn't mean I'm still going to advertise it to him. I'm still going to try to get his hat in the game, because if it's another offer, it's another potential offer for you. But ideally, you know, I want somebody swinging for the fences for you. And I just hope you can hear the sincerity in what I'm saying. I believe that you're going to get some serious action at 925 if you listed it at that price. And we did just the proper photos, you know, a little bit of decluttering, nothing too crazy. And then set up and then do a nice, I also want to do an aerial video where they're coming through the neighborhood and showing different parts of Ventura. And, you know, that costs a little bit more money. And that's where I was saying, I got to make sure that, you know, that there's still, as you talk about the business, if you're willing to do 5%, I'd be grateful for that, but I'm willing to flex on my end for you in any way that I can to make the numbers work. So, you know, you let me know what you guys need to walk away with. We'll do a net sheet, and just more than anything, I want to guide you where you guys see that it was the right decision after it's all said and done. Like, you know, it's kind of, it's still, I'm still in awe about how this all came together in terms of us talking yesterday, you know?
It's kind of funny that we ran into your dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, Raimi, and she went, what? I was like, oh my God.
Right.
Because we haven't seen him in a long, long time. I didn't even know he was still in the business. I
right.
thought they were going to go out and do something else.
Right.
It's been a couple years since we've seen him.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anyone who does the sewer inspections? Do you have a company that you use?
Yeah, I'll send you a couple of them. I'm trying to think of the one in Ventura. There was one I used to use quite a bit in Ventura, and I want to say the last experience I had with it, I don't remember what it was, but I started working with somebody else. So I'll pull a couple numbers up for you, but I'll send you the one guy, and I want to say it's like $150 to $200 for the camera inspection. There's another plumbing guy.
It's about $225 is what it usually
is what you're saying. Okay, so but I'll check with him.
I paid that back east. That's what I paid back east to have the sewer line inspection.
Yeah, his name's Logan. I'm gonna pull his number up. I'll forward that over to you, and then we can try to get that set up. And then I'll look. I can give you a couple others too, but I'm pretty sure that's the guy in Ventura. And I want to say it was called Gold Coast Plumbing or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a dude that I used that was a plumber. I can't remember his name. I've had him out here twice. I don't know if he does camera inspections though. He's just kind of the faucet guy. You know,
okay.
In and out pretty quick. He was really good. That's who we had work on the faucets. So.
Nice. He may be worth reaching out to. Just ask him if he has the equipment for that camera inspection. If you already got a rapport with him, that could be good. But I'll send you Logan's info too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't received an email from you. I didn't know if you've tried to send me anything. I just wanted to make sure you have the correct email address.
Okay, let me write it down again. Yeah, I thought I sent it last night, but let me just make sure
it was.
Nothing
has came through, so it must have bounced.
Okay.
I don't see anything.
Okay, so it's
last name Hager,
yep.
Hager. First name Jeffrey, Jeffrey. With the middle initial A.
Yep.
HagerJeffrey@gmail.com.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I looked this morning. I was going to look, for you to send me something. I didn't see anything, so I thought I'd give you a call.
No, I appreciate that, and I'm curious if it went to spam because I know I sent that CMA we were going over together, and
spam. Where's my spam?
I'll try to.
72. Brandon Ramey, right there.
There you go. So it did come through.
Spammer, dude.
All right, I'm a spammer. Gotta unspam me.
This says, agent picture new CMA is now available. View report. Receive report. Like your connection is not private. I don't care. Oh, now it sent me back because I hit the wrong thing.
Okay.
I hit this and then hit. Oh, there we go. Market comparison.
Sweet. Yep.
You look different with the beard. Look at your picture there. You look a little different with that beard.
I know. I gotta switch my picture out and put the beard in it.
Yeah, you do. You look very suave. Beard.
Well, I appreciate that. Thought you were gonna. I've been called other things, so I didn't know where you're gonna go with that, man.
So what is this? Oh, was telling. Okay, S2. I see how you do it. Active pending 849. Because I know those two we looked at. The one on Fairview and the other one that was on Sandy and Nez. Like you said, I did the calculation on square footage alone.
Yeah.
I mean, one was 977. The other one was like $1 million something.
Right.
Just on the square footage now, and neither one of them have an ocean view. The ones on the other side of Pola, yeah, I give it that. It does have a larger lot. It had 13,000 square feet, but still,
right.
It's up against the Barranca. 2 years ago, it almost burned to death. I bet. I don't have that problem here.
Right.
But so, okay, you're going to send me some. I'm trying to find the. That's what I wanted to ask you was about a plumber to scope the line. And do you have anybody you use for termite? Yep.
His name's Augie with One Stop Pest Control. $75 for his inspection, and he's extremely competitive. So, he's not going to find unnecessary stuff. And if he can zap it and just do a couple, like a spot treatment, he can give us the recommendation on that versus a tent. And then you can still advertise you have Section 1 clearance. So again, another proactive thing that when we advertise and we tell others that, hey, we already got Section 1 clearance, you know, just off the termite, that's going to be the big thing. And, you know, it's another peace of mind factor that people feel they're getting better value for the home. So it's just a step ahead there. That and that plumbing certification would be big too, especially being out there. So just making sure you have that sewer lateral.
I want to get that. Well, since I have to do it,
right,
I may as well get it done. I want this all done.
Yep.
And out of the way. But as I say, I don't really want to do any kind of construction to the house.
Right.
I don't
No.
have to. I'd rather just market it as, hey, it's good, solid bones. You know,
right.
Like you're saying, there is nothing available. If you want to play the game, you got to come onto my court.
Yep.
You know, and this is what I have.
Absolutely.
And I want this for it.
Right.
So don't F with me, or I'm gonna kick you off.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna give you a red card and you're gone.
Absolutely.
Kind of so I know that's probably kind of shitty. I don't really like to be like that.
No,
so I'm gonna follow the plan that I had told you about. I'm gonna tell these people that they still have first shot.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell them that I am gonna list it, you know, just to see what the market will bear.
Okay.
And if I can't get X amount of dollars for it to cover my costs,
right,
I'll give it to you for what we agreed upon.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to tell them.
That sounds good. And then
that gives me an out.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair out for them. And as well as that actually helps your negotiating power for them, because it puts pressure on them that they can't play games either, you know, because if they're not coming in truly as a 900 as is sale, then you may be better off still, you know, with not maybe, it's very likely you're going to be better off putting it on the open market and seeing what you can do, you know. So
how do I vet them? How would I, if I say I want to vet you, what do I do?
You're going to cross qualify them with Jason Haraldson would be my recommendation, just because he's going to be as transparent as you can get. And what they'll do is they submit a loan application through Jason. They don't have to work with them, and it doesn't cost them anything. But what Jason's going to see is he's going to see what their income is, what their debt is, what their credit looks like, how much assets they truly have. Because when they said they were pre-approved up to 890, we want to make sure that wasn't the highest they can do. Because just because they write 900, again, doesn't mean that they can close at 900. So we need to make sure they can truly qualify the 900,000. Still got to get the appraisal, still got to get those things. And I've had, I'm trying to think if I've ever or recently had any appraisal issues with Jason, and we haven't. They've all come in at value or higher than value. So it seems like he's working with a pretty good panel of appraisers, which would be in your favor as well. So yeah, I'll give you Jason's contact info, and all I would tell him is it requires a cross qualification. If they're hesitant in doing that, that could be a flag. But worst case scenario, you have their loan officer talk to Jason at a minimum. And if you can at least do that, Jason can still get a lot of the details and forms without them having to run their credit a second time. Because some people, if their credit's like shaky or it's on where they could, you know, it's like, say it's right around 710, and if they're at like the 750 mark, it's even better. They may be concerned about running their credit because they're trying to work on it to try to get it up to that 750 to get them the best interest rate. So there are people who are hesitant. And then when I'm in that situation, I just say, okay, have your loan officer talk to Jason, so they don't feel that you're trying to swipe them or sway them into doing it, but you can still get the info that you need to get. And that's really what's critical for you.
That's a very good thing I need to talk to them about too, being cross-qualified. So you're going to give me info on plumber, termite, Jason. You give me Jason's number. It'll probably show up in spam, so I see it here. That get it.
Right.
And I'll probably call you, 50 more times.
Perfect.
Just because it's the way I am, so just kind of expect it. I'm a little bit of a, like my wife said, I'm wishy-washy because it's just the way I am. So
no, it's.
Anyways, thank you.
All right.
Sounds good. I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing.
Sounds good.
And I'll just wait to get your info because I'm just sitting here waiting to make phone calls.
Perfect. I'll send it over to you right now, so you'll have that.
You.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Talk to you soon.
Cool, man.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're still there.
Yeah, I have to get on to I stayed through the whole thing.
Okay. No, I didn't know you were on there or not. Did you see?
I was listening. I sent you messages because I was thinking if he does all the inspections ahead of time, it'll make people write real offers. They can't come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what they do in the Bay right now.
Right. No, that's smart, and that was a good way to mention it. But yeah, no, that was interesting.
I'm gonna have to get off the phone with you shortly though, because my admin class starts at 11, and so I have to switch on to that.
So what do you think? What did you take away from that conversation?
Well, even though he wasn't sure he wanted to go with you, I feel like you just kept acting like you were going to work with him. I'm sorry, I'm dying. So I was like laughing because he was like, well, I don't know. And you're like, okay, well, when I list, this is what we do. And you're just like, I don't even care that you don't know what you're doing yet.
Well, he never said that he wasn't going to work with me, right? He's talking
He's
about
like really against having you take less commission.
Well, that was what I wanted to see if you saw that.
Oh, I have to grab this call though.
No worries.
Hold on real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Hello. Oh, no worries. I saw your text. What did you need? Uh-huh. Oh. Okay. Uh-huh. Email. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, do you have the pre-approval? Okay. Proof of funds? On what street?
F Street. And I emailed them to you.
I have to look. I usually don't keep the proof of funds on people. Let me search.
Not I'll search for any.
F Street. Okay. Okay. Found them.
There's two of them. Remember when?
Yeah.
Okay. If you can send all that to what's his name, Fred Evans.
Okay.
Looks like they're gonna accept our offer.
Okay, perfect. Will do.
Okay, and then yeah, I already sent out the for them to initial it, and I saw it come back.
Okay, I'll go look in your zip
yeah.
file. Okay, perfect.
Let me know if you need anything. Okay.
All right.
We're about to fly out here in the next 2 hours.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay.
Bye. All right, I'm back.
Okay, 1 second. I've just got to send this one text out. Hi, Jason, I gave your info to my friend Jeff Hager. He needs to cross-qualify his potential buyer with you. We can discuss more later. Okay, I gave that. Augie. So no, that's good you picked up on that, on how he wanted, he's a business is business, and he stuck to the 5%. So this is the challenge. Yeah. But this is the challenge. The challenge is he originally wanted no less than 980. He was like, I want to shoot for $1 million. I want no less than 980. It's only worth it to pay all those commissions out if I make at least 980. Based on the comps, Zillow and all that's got a like 860,000. The current inventory, it's just not closed yet. Smaller 2-bedroom, 2-bath. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. That they're going pending at like 880, pending quick. So we know that those are going to close over 900,000.
Right.
The our agent told him 915, and said that best case was that they'll end up at like 920, 925 best case. I actually think that's where you should start at, is 925, and I think that we're going to end up north of 950. He may even hit his 980 number. But if we
right
50, which is originally what we were going to list it at, I told him he needed to fix certain things, and that's where it almost came to where, hey, it's just not worth it. It's going to cost all this. So that was the tough conversation I had to have with him to realize the value of if he got 925 or listed at 925 and he got 950 and didn't have to spend anything, that's better than us listing at 950 and have to spend all this money hoping 980, right? So that's part of the understanding and the beating it up process, which you take the chance that they're like, nah, it's too expensive to go this route, right? But at least he called me and we had that conversation.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's good. And then if you saw, that's when I brought it back with the personal side to make it from business to personal, and it just solidifies it a little bit more. So we'll see. Still, hey, it's an opportunity. As long as I keep stepping foot into these properties, I'm going to have a chance to be able to share what we can do for them. So the goal is to get into as many of these as we can, you know? So I know you're
I'm trying to see.
You good?
Well, no, I wanted to see if we had, if you put him on that listing thing. I was going to put his name on there and his address. It's not. Do you know what his address is?
Yeah,
Did I lose you?
It's in the Brevity leads. If you look at it, it's should be like 213 or
I'll pull it up.
North Brent Street. It's 312 North Brent Street.
Okay, I'm gonna add
His
him.
name's Jeff Hager, Hager.
Jeff Hager. Man, that name sounds so familiar. He's not in Brevity. Unless I typed it wrong. Huh. I'll have to add him to Brevity. I don't see him in here. Oh, he's on the CMA, the market reports, huh? Did I lose you?
What's that?
He's on the market reports. He's not in Brevity. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, there was more, but you got the whole story of the visualization part. The next day that happens.
Yeah.
The second part to it, the other guy, Jeff Madrazo, also wants to sell his house too. So we're already messaging on Facebook. So just
good.
2 potential listings with everything else that comes with it. So we'll see.
Jeff Madrazo, you said?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna insert him in here. Jeff Madrazo. I'll figure that out later. All right, well, cool. I'm glad. I mean, that's exciting. I'm glad it's all working out.
Every single time I do my trip, you see what happens before and after and during it. So just being clear here. So just start. Your job is to make sure I go on enough trips throughout the year to do the business that we need to do. Deal?
That's funny. All righty. All righty. Let me get on this admin class. I'm going to jump over to that one.
Have fun. All right, Yvette. I'll talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.